I like to do things different on my channel from time to time, but I hooked up with Ben from Blade HQ, and they're a local knife company where I live, and I'll kind of go over how we actually met, or what got us together in the first place. But we went out and tested the Benchmade Griptilian, and what the footage you're about to see right now is very raw footage, and some of it's not so great, but I think some of the discussion is kind of fun. And I say this over and over in the video, and I'm going to say it right now too. What we are doing with a folder is not what a folder is designed to do. We wanted to beat it a little bit. We didn't want to overly abuse it, but I could say we abused it a little bit, but not overly so. Anyway, here's the footage, very raw, very uncut. I'm just going to let it play. This will be fun. I think this will be fun. A little bit different than what I normally do. So enjoy. So we're out here filming, Ben and myself. Ben is from Blade HQ, and kind of explained it in their video, but how we hooked up was my brother being in my videos. Ben was watching one of the videos and said, "Hey, I know that guy, that's Sleeves." They went to school together, so he contacted my brother anyway. Long story short, here we are. But we're kind of talking about knife testing, and something I've been thinking about for a long time is what constitutes a good knife test. So if I get this blade and say, "This is the blade, I got it today, it's black, it's orange, it's this length, it's this weight," there's the review. Is there value in that? And go to the other extreme. Let's open this up, get 1,000 pounds, and watch the blade break and say, "Gosh, it failed miserably. There's 1,000 pounds on it." Well, of course it's going to break. So what we're trying to accomplish out here is kind of a happy medium. We're working out a blade that, no, you wouldn't take this out in the forest and use it in the manner that we're using it. But what I'm thinking is it's giving the blade a good workout and a good pounding, but yet it's not abusing the knife either. So just trying to find that happy medium in this testing, and you guys know me, being out in this kind of stuff, it doesn't get much better than this. So, all right, we'll continue. So we're just gonna baton through this. I'm just gonna use this stick here, and we're gonna cut through this. Again, not what this is designed to do, but we're coming out here to thump on it, and that's the purpose of it. And have some fun, of course. So here we go. All right, you ready?
Yep.
And I think this is, this is kind of a good test. It's something that you wouldn't do with the folder normally. But again, we just wanted to come up, thump on, and have some fun. Man, I really like this blade. Nice.
Sometimes I'll repeat myself like that because it'll
right.
get cut out in some scenes.
Yep.
How I film. It's gonna be good for the mic. Oh, what happened there?
All right, I'm going to interrupt here a little bit. This is really fascinating to me because did it fail? Did the locking mechanism on that Griptilian fail? My answer is no, it didn't. And you're thinking, oh, wait a minute. Yes, it did. We just watched it fold. If you were to take your car, all right, you know those police spikes that they use during car chases and they throw them out the road to spike the tires of the guy who's running? All right, if you take one of those strips, spike strips, lay it out on the road, drive your car over it, and you get 4 flat tires, did the tires fail? You see what I'm saying? What we're doing here is the blade is not designed to do that. I'll talk more. I'm going to release a formal review on this here down the road. And I'll talk more about that. One more thing. Going through it, I actually thought that the locking mechanism, the access lock, was actuated by the tree branch. And when I got home and started looking at the film, I saw that that wasn't the case. And maybe I'll slow it down and kind of show you. But again, I don't think it failed. Talk more about it later.
Oh, you know what I think happened?
What's that?
Because the blade folded in, but it wasn't the locking mechanism that failed. I think what it did is it rubbed on the branch and it actuated the lock, so it allowed it to fold a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Again, why this isn't suited for wilderness work, but fun to test it this way nevertheless. That's not bad. Sure it's holding in pretty good. I'm not gonna whack it, but
And the lockup on that is.
and while I'm doing this, this is one thing that I really like about this blade, this access lock. And other manufacturers have a similar lock. It's not the access lock, but it functions in the same way as far as being able to grab both ends here and close it. One thing I'm a really big fan of is the one-handed closing and opening. Of course, most of them are one-handed opening, but closing, even the liner locks, this is just so much faster. Now, when I first got this knife, I was a little disappointed when I closed it. It would kind of come here and then I'd have to do it the rest of the way. But it was just because it was new and it needed some breaking in. So now you can see, and that's just me, that's a personal preference, but I found that I really like being able to close it quickly with one hand. Yeah, I hope I don't sound like a broken record with the, this is not a wilderness blade, but I know the comments. I know they'll be coming.
It's alright.
So that, that'll do it. So Ben was actually telling me earlier, why were you doing this with your blade the other day?
I was drilling some holes, and I didn't have a, what do they call that, a pocket screw? Basically gives you that, so you can get your screw flush. So I was drilling some holes, putting some screws in it, but I couldn't, I just pulled out a knife and used it to drill these little, what do they call that? Do you know what they call that? I don't call it a pocket screw.
I don't know.
I was using it for that. Mine didn't do as well as this one.
Your tip
My
chipped
tip,
out a little bit.
My
didn't
tip chipped. It's Spyderco Delica, and the tip chipped ever so slightly.
You know, what's interesting to me too is that the definition of what a knife should be used for is fascinating to me, because you ask 10 different guys and you're probably going to get 10 different answers. You know, one guy might say, you know what, this is abuse. Another guy might come in and say, you know what, you're not abusing that knife at all. I sharpened this knife for a friend at work, and then I was watching him use it at work, and he was actually using the blade as a screwdriver. He put it in the screw and was turning it. I'm like, oh man, I just sharpened that knife. So it's just interesting, you know, the different uses that people have and different definitions of abuse. That's putting some force right there.
How's that blade holding up?
Good. That one actually, I got some bowing in that one, just in the whole blade itself. Again, because this is a fixed blade and not a full tang knife, you're going to see that. The purpose of us doing this is to have fun and test it a little bit. I mean, I'm just drilling that in there. And there we go. That's another one. In my use so far of this blade, I've been very impressed with it. And at least thus far in the testing, it hasn't changed. Sometimes when you get a blade too, you just start playing with it and you immediately know that this is a nice blade. This happened to be one of those cases. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
I love the 154 CM too. I like that steel. In my experience, it holds up well, but again, as important as that is, I can sharpen it. See all that prying on the tip, I'm actually surprised at how sharp it still is. It's not going to shave hair anymore, but I wouldn't expect it to. That wouldn't happen. But I'm really surprised at how sharp it still is.
Crockett looked pretty awesome here a second ago, but he's a little washed out here in the snow.
All right, we're going to pound this thing in here a little bit. I'm going to sound like a broken record, and depending on how much is edited in and out, you guys are going to get sick of hearing this, but this is not the task of this knife, but the point of us doing this is to come up and test it a little bit. Work it out.
Hang on for just a sec. Love the tripod, but it's not always the best option.
Put that back in down here a little bit more. Now see, here's one of those moments where if I wanted to, I could pull up and do some damage to that knife. What's the point of this? But drilling it in like that to kind of test a little bit, put a little stress on this. Not this way, but we want this, you know, this way, because that's where it's going to fold down on you. And then just, you know, the back. How did the back do? Pounding on it. Looks pretty good. Again, it's interesting what guys will use their knives for. This is maybe normal day kind of stuff, where others, they would never dream of doing this with their blades. Put a little bit of side blade movement in there. again, my whole focus and my philosophy in doing this isn't to see what it takes to destroy the knife, but use it in such a manner that we kind of get a good feel for it. That's looking pretty good.
That's the lockup.
Pretty good.
Solid.
Yeah. There's a little bit of left or right, but that's normal. Every knife that I have, it starts off with a little bit left and right. That's just the mechanics. Now, if it's excessive, that's where you start to worry. But back and forth, absolutely nothing, and left to right, that's exactly how it was when I got it. Boy, I liked this knife before, and it's just growing on me even more. That's one thing on EDC.
Yeah.
Because on EDC I find myself doing whatever it is you're doing. You know, you're cutting, and then for whatever reason I've got to grab it, but I want to put this blade away, and so I could use both my hands. So that's one reason that I like this design. Of course, you just got to make sure you keep your fingers out of the way. But boom, it's easy. Put it away, and then now you can do whatever you need to do with both hands. I find that a lot in my EDC use. And I'm still impressed with how sharp this is.